So this is kind of a small thing relative to a lot of other concepts probably. But when you push around this corner, like you don't charge a right click at all, right? Um, then you get to here, and then you finally start shooting, right? And in the middle of shooting, you just start charging a right click. Um, and like that just seems to be like very out of order. Also, again, generally speaking, you want to prioritize not healing your Sig. Your Sig is not going to be taking a lot of damage. And if he does, he can self-regen a good chunk of it, and your Mercy also apparently doesn't have anything like else to heal right now, so like, just healing him, right? So you want to prioritize people that your Mercy can't reach, right? And that would be your flankers or your ball, right? You just want to have the orb just like permanently stuck to one of them. And, like, it feels like you and Mercy are just like chasing people who are low, right? Like your ball comes back to you and he's low, so you heal him for a second, and then like Sig gets hit, so then he's low, and then you heal him, right? But you never. But the thing is, Orb is much better proactively healing people than reactively healing people. Because 30 healing per second won't save anyone who's low, but it will help someone who's full health, like tank and survive for much longer, right? Like a Tracer with Harmony can stay in a fight for a very long time. A Tracer who's low, well, even with Harmony, he still has to run away, right? Tracer can't stay in the fight even with Harmony, right? But Tracer with Harmony, full HP, can just stay in the fight forever, right? And same idea, right? With like Ball and stuff like that, right? Don't reactively heal people. Preemptively heal. Uh-oh. Predator. Oh, never mind. Oh no. I remember this game being kind of like dumpster fire though. I'm not sure how much this round is worth. So I will say you have a tendency to like to either drift away from the angle the Rhine is on a little late, or not drift at all, right? So here, like the Rhine started pushing here. Sorry, back so I can talking about. That's not you. You're shooting this way, the Rhine's not here, right? As soon as the Rhine's here and he starts blocking you off, you need to start sliding this way, right? Because if he just puts a shield up, your damage goes from like crazy amounts of damage to 0, right? So you need to get over to this side as soon as the Rhine starts boosting himself over here, right? As soon as he puts his face up, right? Just start sliding this direction. And if he doesn't like shield, you shoot him, right? If he does start shooting, you're in position to start shooting someone else, right? Get stuck on the same angle that he's blocking, right? Right now, right? This is like the worst case scenario where now he's blocking, your damage is nothing, right? And like, sure, it's better that he shields you than one of your teammates. Well, not even true. It's good that he has to pick a direction to shield because you have a crossfire going, right? But it's better that he's not able to shield anything at all. He's just spinning around trying to find something to do, right? That's like the best outcome. Okay, but you just don't want this to happen. Like if you just slid out to the side, right? Your Tracer comes in from over here, your ball's over here, you're shooting from here, like you have a massive crossfire, right? You want to abuse that. And if we go back to a slightly earlier example that I was trying to do earlier. Like the shield's up, right? Ryan's doing whatever, you can shoot whatever you want. Right here, right? Ryan's over here, and you slide into his angle to shoot him instead of just standing in like over here, right? Shooting at him, right? I guess generally. But like what ends up happening, right? It's that actually. Did I miss it? Am I crazy? Guess so. Okay, moving on. I don't know where it is. Alright, so remember, especially if they don't have sim, but just in general, we want to hold out here, right? Because we want to hold in the open spaces, and whenever they rotate, we try to capitalize, right? If you just play back here, just not ready to participate in that. So positioning wise, you need to like walk way out way earlier. Yeah, so the problem here is like, yeah, backing to point, and we're not dying right now, but eventually we're going to run out of space in the back of the point, and we're just going to get run down and die, right? What we really want to do, we want the enemy team to walk out in front of us right here, and we just shoot them to the side, and the backline has to rotate, and they can only shield so many angles at the same time, right? So there'll be the Echo right here, and like the Tracer over here, and the ball on them, and you and the Sig will just be shooting from out here, right? That's when it gets really difficult for them to rotate cleanly without someone dying, right? But the problem is if you guys play in front of them like this, you guys are sort of inviting a target. So you have to work Ryan, you guys get shattered together, you guys both die, right? This just comes down to like your guys' pre-fight position. Are you guys playing point instead of playing the courtyard?
Adversity is an opportunity for change.
This one's not really on you. It's more of a team thing. But conceptually, if you just think about it, our comp is like kind of pokey, keep them away from us, right? And their comp is kind of like Ryan Sig, they're more elusive, they're rush, right? Even though their DPS are kind of on the pokey side, they're rush comp, right? So if you think about it, these angles are very close. It's very easier for Ryan just play here and just like block everything, right? So just conceptually, we either want to go high ground where we get more ability to like them and make them back up before we drop, or we want to go left side where there's open space, right? More room to maneuver that we can spread out on. If they meet us on these chokes, right, the Ryan just pushes it all the way out here, right? Then we back up and do it again, right? And we just keep going back and forth until we get to where we get an angle that we like. But the problem is we're trying to rush a fight. Like I guess it's overtime, so not the most important advice I'm getting here. But just generally, like if you think about it, right, this is probably not the best door to push from. Probably a bit better overall because like access to more. But since it's overtime, you know, do what you gotta do. Get him. Get him. Oh. Oh, you could actually trance there. Matters, but yeah. Alrighty. This point. Alright, I need me to stop talking so we can start the game. Oh, Bap. Nice.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elevator on.
So, I like the effort you're putting into like trying to use both shots at the same time, right? But you got to prioritize one of the other, right? Because like if you try to do both equally well, you're just gonna miss one a lot, right? So one thing you want to emphasize is you want to, generally speaking, heals are a little bit more important, especially when they're all masked up like this and the big target you're trying to kill, right? So like it's very easy just like flick a left click into their general vicinity and hit most of it, right? Or even all of it. So like just like make sure you hit your left click, or sorry, your right click, and then flick your left click at the enemy team, and then go back to aiming your right click. Also generally, well, if you line people up like this, it makes it easier to do the left click, right? Again, this left click is not hard because there's nothing you're aiming at, right? You're just aiming at a big blob, right? So you want to like take a position that's a bit more covered because like if the Junkrat wasn't in front of you, you could have easily just died as well, right? Like Fush kind of took the hit for you because both of you were making the same positional error. So you want to like lean towards this side where you can control the angle better, right? And you can also rely on the Ryan to body block for you, right? Like I talked about how other people don't want Ryan to don't want Ryan to body block for them because they need to control angles. That way the Ryan takes less crap, right? But if you're like the main support, or not the main support, but the main healer, totally okay to have your Ryan body block for you. Because if you die, it's even worse, right? So you'd much rather have like your Sig playing aggressive off angles, right? Or like your Junkrat conservatively playing this spot, right? Not like aggressively like you did right in the open. And then you just play behind your Ryan. You play the same angle, and then you just like right click, left click, and the game sort of just plays itself because it's right. That lamp's fine, but placement wise, you want it behind cover, right? So especially if Dan's backing up, you want to put it like behind this wall here. So that way you can have it without it being shot at, right? So it's about to die, and Dan's still missing a lot of health, right? That's not you. Yeah. Oh god, how does he live? Alright. So from a comms perspective, by the way, if you can call that you have no cooldowns when your team's pushing like that, it's kind of a big deal. Because then they'll know what to expect from their support, right? So if you're an Ana, you should call that whether or not you have nade, right? Or just be like, careful, no nade or something, right? Or if you're Babby, you should be like, careful, cooldowns, or even just like careful reloading, right? And if you have lamp or you have shift, that's a big deal, because then when you call for the push at that point, be like, push, 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 I have lamp, right? And then when they go in, right, and they're about to die, you throw a lamp, and now they just keep pushing. There's no fear, right? And so calling, like, I don't think you called your cooldowns there. I don't remember. But calling your cooldowns there is a pretty big deal. Don't think it ended up mattering there. But it made Dan's life a little bit harder. So I think what you do to make anything's life easier is always appreciated by your mid take. Alright, again, careful playing these open areas, right? Catch a lot of spam here. You much rather lean toward one side or another. You either want to lean towards this side, or you want to lean towards this side, right? But you don't want to just stand in the open. That's not you. That lamp's rough. Because you just gotta read their motion, right? Or their body language. So Dan's backing up, and he's low. So he's like, yeah, in theory he could die, right? But look what the Ryan's doing, right? You just saw him. He's backing up, right? They're not pushing your Ryan, right? So your Ryan won't die, right? So thus he does not need lamp, right? And you need to learn to so it's very easy to be like, oh, my Ryan's low HP, and he's purple, and there's no bubble, he's gonna die, right? Like, and that's like a very good heuristic, right? It's even like it's very valuable even. But you gotta contextualize it, right? What else is going on, right? In this case, the Ryan's backing up, thus your Ryan does not need help, or does not need lamp rather. Just needs to be healed up as soon as the purple ends, right? Alright, and like having lamp right now would be really good. Not saying you want to save the fight, but it could have made the fight a little bit easier. You're playing open areas as a McCree right here. If the guy was like aiming at you, you could just die, right? Like, you don't need to jump to hit this guy. Just like peek, heal. Maybe jump over here so you can like heal as you're going around the corner. Like play behind this wall, right? Play cover, right? Just have a tendency to play open spaces. Like he's more focused on Foosh than you, right? But like if you were focused, you could just die there, right? Now you're behind cover. You want to get to cover a lot earlier. Probably want to window for yourself here. Great space. A little late now though. Not. Big flank from your team. Also we took white wall. Nice. Careful this guy. You ready to lamp yourself if you could. Okay. Yeah. You just want to stare down the McCree. Like you can like flick heal your team. Right? Let 90 degrees to your left and just throw it. But like you be ready just to make sure that if he starts to look at you and then rolls forward that you immediately lamp your flashes. Alright, just look for an early window here. As soon as they commit to a choke, you just put the window. You don't even need to give that to that many people, just like yourself, really. Maybe the Sig. That window will probably be fine. Right, window right here, right? Just across this choke. What are they going to do, right? Like, they have no cover. The Ryan shield is going to break. You're going to get a lot of pressure on your Dan can walk up for free, right? But that's how you want a window here. Nice. Good. Just a little bit earlier next time. Like as soon as you want a window, like the timing of the window is as soon as they commit to the rotation. As soon as Orion walks out this far, where he can't easily walk back anymore, that's a great time to window. The rest of the team kind of doesn't matter so much. You don't need to lamp that. Okay, so already walked around the corner, right? And you were fine, right? You don't need to lamp it. That's actually what kills you. Actually, it's like you lamp yourself instead of just walking around the corner. So then like lamp gets forced, but he also takes all your HP away, right? And then the attack visor just kills everything. Again, just gotta like recognize when you are safe, right, and when you're not safe. In this case, you were safe, so you don't have to lamp it. So here, Kainu comes out. Right? Instead of throwing the lamp, you could just slide to your left, and you would probably make it. If you died, right? I mean, the same outcome either way. But you gotta preserve life. Yeah.
Can't be attitude positive, no.
All right, next. Wow, that was fast.
Gaze into the eyes.
Whoa. Ryan went flying. I think we call it go white here. Should probably done this a lot earlier. Because if you look, our divers are back now, right? And we're not in position to actually fight. So we need, as a group, the three of us, need to rotate a lot earlier to this side. That way, when our divers are getting ready, we're already in position to push this point while it's getting capped, right?
Activating the barrier.
Yeah. And again, this is there's a great Spylo video on this, but that's why you gotta prioritize off angles, right? And like healing your. So if you look, who's probably overextended here, right? But as a general rule, sorry, not first. The way you influence the map as Zen, and Zen really plays like a sort of commander role in this comp, is that like people like there's very little going through main, right? Like it's really just you and like your fellow backline players, right? Meanwhile, the rest of your teammates are all fighting for map control, right? Influence this by giving them Harmony Orb, by shooting people who are shooting them, right? And discording people that they can shoot, right? So this stuff down main really doesn't matter. If all you're shooting is all you can shoot here is like a Sig shield and maybe a Sigma, right? But if you stand out here, right, you can orb your Echo, right? Shoot this McCree, right? You apply pressure, right? This is how you win with pressure, right? Come into this room instead of staying here. You could like slide to the left, right? And now you get a real angle, right? Where the Sig drops a shield, you might snipe the Ana, right? And you kind of need to think of these terms, right? Like, who can I help? Who can I see on my team? Who can I see on the enemy team? If the answer is nobody on your team, right, and a Sig on the enemy team, it's a bad position.
Activating the barrier.
So like you're like even if we're able to save your Echo, right, and you gave her Harmony, your Brig got her pack, and she survived, right? It's still losing. You still lost the flank, right? You still lost this flank on this side of the map, right? So even though like Harmony is really not very good at reactively healing people. It's just too slow, right? It's not like burst healing, but it's very good at proactively healing people because it extends how much life they have in a fight, right? So like a Tracer with Orb, for example, live forever, right, with full health. But a Tracer with low health with an Orb still has to run away, right? Like just conceptually. And Echo that goes the same for Echo, right? An Echo who with the Orb can hang around for a very long time, but an Echo trying to survive with an Orb really doesn't change much, right? In this case, you gave her Orb and she died right as she got it, right? That, again, you just need to think in terms of like angles. Who can I see on my team? Who can I see in the enemy team? In this case, right, you can see anyone except these people in a box, right, with you on your team. See a Sig shield, and you actually can't see anyone in the enemy team. Like just some people in the way back, right? It's just very rough. Right now, there's a Brig fighting a ball on your right side, and you're just not in position to like deal, like do much about it. Right, and the reason why that worked out, right? The reason why that worked out is because the ball came into your space and tried to fight you guys, and you guys just killed them, right? But like there was no, you're not actually helping your team still fight for off angles. Your team's just winning. The enemy team's in. Don't orb the Tracer. On you. Keep your orb on Echo. Echo needs it. And now the Echo's no longer poking, an orb on your Tracer would now be very good. Now see this right here? This is your Tracer fighting for map control with their ball, right? So if you just keep orbing your Tracer no longer needs to rely on the health pack, right? And any damages in this ball will never ever force your Tracer out, right? With your Tracer as orb. Orb on the meanwhile, if you can discord the ball, right, the ball now is like a legitimate fear of dying, right? This is what I mean about like you can influence these side fights very convincingly, like without even shooting at them. Oh, don't orb the sick. He doesn't need it. Orb the people who are going to be fighting. This guy is going to fight, right? He needs the orb, right? This guy might also need the orb. Probably not right now. It depends on whether or not I get shot here. Like he's not trying to fight. It looks like he's not contesting for map control. He's coming back, right? You don't need to orb him, right? You need to orb this guy who's actually fighting for map control. Okay, you didn't. Oh, thank God. All right, so now your tracer really needs orb. Right? Disaster. Don't orb your sig. He doesn't need it. Don't even orb your brick. Okay, tracer. Right, so now your tracer's a big stack of armor. What about orbing her so much? Far so good. Yeah, so right here, right, you don't know exactly what your Echo's doing, but you're not really sure because you're not looking at her, and there's presumably a lot of walls because you kept going to your right, right? So you need to make sure you orb this tracer before she goes around the corner, right? Because you don't know if she is going to be fighting so much that she'll need, but you know for sure that the Echo probably won't need orb. And even so, even if she does need orb, you're not in a position to see her, right? Drake can handle it. Right. Echo is controlling, or is like poking, so she needs orb. That orb is fine. Oh god, right. And this is what I mean, that you tend to play open position, right? You get forced into things like this where you have to trans to save yourself, and that was a good reaction to save trans here. But if you just played this pillar better, you wouldn't have to, right? Sure, you need to turn around and do stuff, but instead of drifting to your left, if you just sat behind the pillar, right, and just peeked out again, right, you would have like the came out high noon, you just peek behind you just like duck behind the corner again. And it's this tendency to not play positions that causes this kind of stuff like this. Alright. Matters anymore. Sorry. One Echo, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Okay. And yeah, I'd love it if you could orb Gabe more, but Fush takes a lot of damage. Hey, got two. Yeah. So, in conclusion, the big things for you, for your BAP is just try and figure out what you need to do more, like which is more important, hitting the heal or hitting the shots, right? Or even which one's right. Just focus on the one that's harder, or more important, and just flick on the other one, and then find an angle where you, like again, you got to play cover, play positions, right? Don't just play in the open. You tend to do that a lot. And like sometimes you'll play a position, right? You were playing a position, then the ball drove by you, and you need to heal someone or to get in a better angle. Instead of just sitting here and trying to pick the person out, like you drifted to your right, see someone, get a better angle on the person you're trying to heal, and then you turn around, there was a high noon, right? Again, just like stick to your position, play your position, right? And then if you need to move, right, to rotate, right, or get LOS, right, you can, but make sure it's you're rotating from one position to another, right? There's no space, right? Yeah. And then remember to orb people who are actively fighting. You were pretty good about it on this map, but like just remember when we're retaking, right? When we're retaking, until you're crossing the bridge, you don't need to be in this room. Stand out here, orb, thing, right? Then when your team tries to push the bridge, right, or the enemy team pushes across your bridge, right, then you can like walk in, right? But like you need to prioritize things that like you need to prioritize things that your team is fighting for, not what you can. In this case, you can't shoot anything. There's nothing useful to shoot. So if you're gonna go this way, like heal people, you can fight for map control, like fighting over here, right? Your Echo's fighting for airspace over here, right? Give her make sure like these people have the resources they need to do what they need to do. So I think that's pretty much all the important stuff. Echo, Zen is not really like, he's a very uncomplicated hero, so like a lot of what it is just like doing small things very well, right? So like how you use your orb, who you orb at any given moment, that's all like where you're looking, what you're shooting at, right? These are the kind of things that we look at when these kind of fodder views. Not a lot of like sweeping like cooldown stuff, but a lot of just like need to orb this guy at this time, right? Yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. And if you get this far, DM me 5.5 plus 2.7 equals decimals. Yeah.